Hey everyone, welcome Noble Television, another episode. I had recorded this yesterday, but I was out with a friend yesterday having a drink. But yeah, no, it's quite exciting times. I don't know whether it's the right thing to do at the moment. Basically, Catherine West, Labour MP, wants to challenge Keir Starmer, but she wants others to challenge him first. And if no one does this by tomorrow, she'll she'll challenge him herself. And I don't know if this is the right thing to do. I'm all for Starmer leaving, like resigning, like going, but they need to do it the right way. I think this is the wrong way to go about it. You don't want it to be a shit show like what the Tories were doing. Let's do it correctly. I mean, I'm kind of down for Rayner or Burnham to go in, but we'll see. Let's just check out some videos and see what she's saying anyway. And we've got three of them to look at, and something on Google that I looked her up on quickly just to get an idea of who she is and what she's about.
This afternoon, I would like the Cabinet to come round the table and elect a leader amongst themselves without humiliating the current leader, Keir Starmer. He also should have a role, perhaps doing international affairs, but we need someone from within the Cabinet to step forward as the leader, and then we will have a new leader of the party without having to have a leadership election. If that cannot happen, and there are no leadership hopefuls who come forward tomorrow, then Monday morning I will put my name forward to stand for the leader of the Labour Party, and I will be seeking the 81 names that are needed to take to the party chair, and I will begin a leadership election. This afternoon, I would like the Cabinet to come round the table and elect.
Let's replay it again. Yeah. If she goes up against Starmer on her own, I I think everyone will rally behind Starmer. I I don't know. Personally, I think they would. I think they would. Let's check out the next video. She was on LBC saying this as well. I don't personally. I think she smells blood and she's out for it. She wants the job, I think.
A sort of inertia and paralysis that seems to have gripped the top of the party. Tomorrow he's going to make a speech, and if I am unconvinced that the party machinery is going to act, then I will have to ask parliamentary colleagues by email for their names. I've had plenty of informal support, but I actually don't want this to happen. What I want is for the Cabinet to get into a room this afternoon or at some point tonight and say to Keir Starmer, we've got a role for you. Then we wouldn't have to have a leadership election, you see, because then we could just have an agreement amongst our top team that we will put in somebody else to lead the party, and Keir could perhaps do something in international affairs. He's very able.
But surely there would have to be a leadership election.
Well, not necessarily, because if the Cabinet could agree to have an internal reshuffle.
But given that the Cabinet have got a fair few pretenders to the throne, what are the chances that they coalesce around someone?
I think the bigger problem is that Cabinet hasn't even met since Thursday. To me, that does not show political strength, leadership or courage, and that's why I, as a backbencher, have had to come forward and do what I'm doing. A sort of inertia and...
No, I think it's like what I just said before. I think you smell blood and you want some of that. Yeah, no. She wants others to throw their name in first so that she doesn't maybe... Yeah, maybe she wants other people to throw their name in first so that to see what happens, test the water, so to speak, without her necessarily putting her toes in first. I don't know. I don't think this is the right way to go about it. Let's have a look and see what she says here.
The leadership know very well that I am not your average or obvious leadership challenger. But what I am doing is I'm trying to wake everybody up to the reality that unless we act quickly to put together our messaging and our strategy for the next 2 years, we will end up like our colleagues in local government, and we will end up with the electoral colour of the country being light blue. And at the moment it's red, and we want to keep the Labor Party in government doing good things, and we need to wake up to that. And I'm yet to really have a proper response for that. And so that's why I'm saying that unless I hear from members, then I will be putting my name forward to do that.
As we've been discussing, Catherine West, the Labour MP for Hornsey and Friern Barnet, has told ministers that if no one puts themselves forward to challenge Keir Starmer for the leadership, then she will trigger a leadership contest herself. And I'm joined now by Catherine West. Good evening to you, Catherine.
Good evening, Carol. Lovely to be with you.
Thanks so much for joining us. Just tell us, first of all, why you decided to make this move.
That wasn't my phone.
So I think on Thursday evening, the trigger point for me was my local council leader losing her seat. Basically, decapitation strategy, a bit like the one in the Prime Minister's backyard when Richard Olszewski lost his seat in the neighbouring Camden Borough. And then, of course, we saw Eluned Morgan. Same thing happened to her in Wales. And then within a few hours of the count up in Scotland, Anas Sarwar had to concede defeat. And losing in Scotland, Wales and London is for the Labour Party a very serious affair. And so I feel that the government really needs to match what actually happened at that point with a proper strategy and response. But to date, we really haven't had anything that I would describe as a response from Number 10. And if I could just finish,
sure.
Carol, my proposal originally is actually that the Cabinet itself grips this crisis and that it puts forward a leader and that leader is appointed by them, really. And then we wouldn't have to have a leadership election because the Prime Minister is very able and he could do any other number of roles. He's very good on the international stage, for example. And then basically that would mean we wouldn't have to have a leadership election because it would just be a consensus within the Cabinet. However, if they cannot agree on a way forward, which is really the expectation on them as our leadership, then I've said, all right, well, I'll put my name forward and I'll see if anybody in the PLP will back me.
There are lots of points I'd like to pick up on. Clearly, you will have been out and about campaigning for your local councillors in Haringey, which was one of many London councils which Labour lost control of. Did you find that out and out about on the doorsteps that Keir Starmer was the big problem?
I found that people were not sufficiently informed of the excellent things that we had done under the leadership of Keir Starmer. I do not feel that he's communicated those things. For example,
the communication
Renters'
has been
Rights
absolutely
Act,
disgusting.
the Workers' Rights Act,
She is correct
all
there.
of these important pieces of legislation. I don't think it was a series of dislikes. It's more that the current approach lacks the urgency which we need to tackle what is the upcoming general election in about 2.5 to 3 years' time, which in electoral terms is just around the corner because any election needs an enormous amount of planning. And I feel that we need somebody who will be more able to communicate to working people, to win back that support. And also only Labour can beat reform because the thing is it's now a national organisation reform. The fact that it's winning in Wales and in other places. And I feel we need a totally energised strategy which actually uses our own members of parliament who are obviously, we have a really big majority. We have seaside MPs, we have countryside MPs, we have people in the cities, but we're lacking that sort of strong messaging from the top.
So you have made it clear that you would have liked the Cabinet to get together to make a move against Keir Starmer. Did you have conversations with Wes Streeting, or perhaps Angela Rayner, of course, who is no longer in the Cabinet, Andy Burnham, who's seen as a potential challenger who doesn't have a seat at the moment?
I've suggested to the leadership that this is a way forward, and that's been respectfully listened to. And I'm very grateful for conversations that I've had with a couple of the members of the Cabinet. And I've been totally open the whole way along. The chair of the Labour Party is a friend of mine. And I said to her last night, if I don't feel that there is a response which matches what I consider to be a bit of an electoral emergency, then I'm going to put my name forward, thinking she would immediately say, don't worry, we're coming forward with something. And then today has not really matched my expectation.
But so, just to be clear, when you say you've spoken to the leadership, are you talking about cabinet ministers? Are you talking about those cabinet ministers whose names have been in the frame as potential leaders to replace Keir Starmer?
It's not for me to go through who's rung me and who I've rung. The leadership know very well that I am not your average or obvious leadership challenger. But what I am doing is I'm trying to wake everybody up to the reality that unless we act quickly to put together our messaging and our strategy for the next 2 years, we will end up like our colleagues in local government, and we will end up with the electoral colour of the country being light blue. And at the
She does make a point there, but let's do it in the right way. Let's have a look at things I was looking up online. Catherine West, it talks about who she is and that, but what I looked on my phone, maybe I was going to look this up, but I found this on my phone, so we'll look up this quickly. So based on her public profile, career and recent political activities as of May 2020, Catherine West, a Labour MP for Hornsey and Farron Barnet, is described as a moderate centrist with strong background in local government and social work. Here is a picture of her character and approach based on reports. Determined and principled. West has been described as a stalking horse or challenger to Sir Keir Starmer. Starmer's leadership showed a willingness to initiate a tough political battle, challenging for the leadership in May 2026 to shift the party's direction. So she's active and driven, moderate and pro-European, focused on social issues, and approachable or challenging. Okay. And that's the rest of that down there. If she's good for the job, then I guess okay. I still think that they should do it right. They honestly need to do it right, or like I said in another video, that you're just gonna hand the keys over to reform, basically. Like, if you keep screwing this up, I mean, look what happened to the Conservatives, the Tories before Labour won. They went through how many fucking prime ministers. Mad. But I'm gonna leave it there anyway. If there is any more news, I'm gonna come back with another video. We'll see what happens. I'll most likely do one tomorrow because that was the deadline she gave, so I'll do that. And yeah, thank you for liking. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you.